Amazing. All right. Super hyped to get into detachment and how powerful of a superpower it is to be able to harness a great grounded sense of detachment when it comes to, getting the fullness out of engaging in your life. Now, if we start the broadest spectrum, there's so much to take into consideration, like stimulus wise, just things to observe, things to intake through your five senses, thoughts going through your head, that, there's got to be a point where you detach from the amount of investment that you give all of these little arbitrary things. Granted, some things may be very valid, but I would say the majority are arbitrarily necessary for you to feel attached to the outcome. Is this going to go one way or the other? Oh, now my focus is on it. Now I'm detached from a grounded place of, being yourself, knowing you are enough, and feeling like, you're outcome dependent. Like something about this situation feels like, you got to invest in it. And, you got to attach yourself to that. There's no way you could detach yourself, because then you wouldn't care about what happened, or, you wouldn't be as aware, or be able to give it as much astute attention that it needs. And that's just situationally. But say environmentally, sometimes you're in a certain environment. Hello, Linz. Welcome. Talking about the superpower of detachment. Say it's not situationally, where, I'd much love to you too. I wish, is there a way I can throw a heart? Where the emoji's at? Emoji gang gang. Yes. I don't know why I typed the emoji when I could have said it. But talking about the importance of detachment when it comes to, getting the fullness out of engaging in your life. I was talking about how situationally something can draw you to it, and you're like, oh my gosh, I was about binge watching. Yo, no way. We're going to start making more of them. So it's going to be lit. Probably today, most likely. But there's going to be a whole new series. I'm excited for it. I'm glad you liked them. I will keep the charisma coming with those vids. I do. You are greatly missed, and your clout goddessness. Where was that? Oh yes, detachment. Hello, welcome. Hit the wave jump. Yeah. All right. So let's say detachment is a very strong, beneficial superpower. You gassing me up too much. Thank you. But it is the least I can do. Real recognize real. I lost track. Reset. Oh yes, detachment. So detachment is more so a superpower to get more engagement, more depth out of your life, mainly from, being able to not be as invested in situations. Something's happening, you're like, I'm invested. I feel like my self-worth relies on the outcome of this. You start falling into outcome dependence, which makes you more invested, and it detaches you from, being in a grounded place of, okay, I'm enough. Things happen, life happens, I got to pay attention to this, but I'm not feeling as sucked and pulled into this that's making me dwindle away the amount of focus I can put on myself for self-love and just enjoying life in general. And that's situationally, but say environmentally. There's so much going on, so much you got to calibrate for. Is there danger? Is it safe? What's going on? Who is that? I just heard a noise. And a lot of times you'll be overly pulled into stimulus externally. Not that you got to pay attention to what's going on. You don't want to fall into a suspect circumstance. But the more you can detach from the amount of investment that you have in, oh well, when this happens, it triggers me, and now I feel this way. Whereas, when I'm in this environment, I feel a lot more chill, and I'm able to enjoy myself. And then you start to condition yourself to, okay, in certain environments, I feel detached and I can enjoy myself. In other environments, I feel overly engaged and I can't really get out of my head. So whether it be situationally or environmentally, there are a lot of benefits to learning to harness being able to detach yourself from being pulled one way or the other. One great way to do this, I say, is get present to the moment. Now, reason being is that if you're able to come back to a place of, okay, this is me. On my life's movie, my life's adventure, I'm present, I am conscious, I can feel myself being me, I feel comfortable being me, I can enjoy being me. Then when it comes to the situational things or the environmental things, it's not like you're in reaction to it. You're more so like, oh, okay, oh, what? Oh, that's crazy. I'm gonna keep an eye out for that. I gotta do something here, but I'm not gonna be like, oh no, the world is happening and it's out of my control. Or whether it be environmentally, you're not like, oh well, I'm at the beach today. I'm super, detached from like, oh, caring about how things are around me, whether it's like, this environment's trifling, or well, like, there's some suspect people over there. It's a ecosystem where you feel comfortable. So, you're able to detach. Welcome, Meech, welcome. So, like, say you are, hello, I miss you so much. Big love, big love. Also detachment environmentally. So say you're at the beach, you're able to, detach. You're like, I'm here, this is my zone, I'm comfortable, and you're just relaxing. Then, when things happen, you're less likely to react because you're in like your environment. Same was miss you so much as well. I gotta, where's the Jonah the Joan? Gotta hit the function. Yes. No, wrong emoji. Yes. Other emoji. Yes. Emoji gang gang. I miss you far much more. Yeah, extra. Boom. I was just talking about boom boom superpower of detachment. How getting out of your head helps you to flow a bit more easily and enjoy the little bits of richness in your environment. I was on environmentally, detaching the benefits. If you detach from, the, the amount of investment in the environment, I was like a favorable environment. Like, oh, I'm at the beach. Obviously, that's your zone. You're going to feel like you can detach. You can wind down. You can relax. You can get present. Enjoy the sea breeze, the sound of the waves crashing. There's a seagull. It might poop on me, but okay, no, it flew away. Okay, I'm chilling. You're with squad, baddie squad turning up. Good vibes. You're able to detach from like, I'm invested in like having to hyper focus on my environment or, be like, this isn't an environment that I like. You're able to relax. Whereas if it's, you're in the city, you're walking down the street, you're like, look at all these sus boys around. Oh, nah. What did I just, I didn't step in it, but the ground is perked. Just all sorts of wild, did I just almost get hit by a car? People don't know how to drive. Then you feel like you have to be overly engaged, obviously to calibrate, but it takes away the focus of being able to be as relaxed in presence. And you can be present and aware, that's the goal. But like if you're in like a perked out city environment where it's like, then you'll be more engaged. You're like, gotta calibrate. Versus if you're at the beach, you're like, I can be detached and relaxed. And it was tied to presence, getting present to the moment, really coming to a grounded place where you're like, all right, well, even though I may be in different environments, some I like, some I don't, I want to be detached from feeling like I have to be in reaction to what's going on. I observe it, but, I'm not like getting my focus pulled away from being me and being like, say you're plopped into a video game environment. Okay, whoa. I now have to navigate. I am now in the video game. Something is happening. I gotta calibrate, attack the enemy. I gotta go collect this. And then you feel like, you're at the whim of your environment. You're not able to detach and relax and enjoy yourself because you're invested. You're like, I gotta get the high score. On to the next mission. Whereas opposed if you get present, when it comes to navigating the environments, it's more like, here I am in my life's movie, going about my day. There's a mission over here. I see the mission indicator. Time to go. Finesse. All right, bet. Checkpoint. I'm enjoying myself. You're the one who's controlling the amount of reaction you have to your environment. So then you can enjoy yourself a little bit more by being detached. And the other example that I used was situationally. If you're like, in a engagement with someone, and then you're like, okay, I got to get my point across. I'm going to be super serious now. You best to know I'm coming with the heat. All facts. You're not going to prove me wrong. My ego is in danger. Or if you're just like, I got to deal with people. It's a party squad function. Is this person okay? Is that person okay? Are they being too loud? The neighbor's about to spaz. And you got to calibrate. You're like, overly engaged and you're getting away from that place of presence where you're like, okay, crazy stuff about to happen, but we finna turn up. I'm not gonna be overly reactive to things, and I'll be able to get present and be like, instead of like, oh, I gotta do this, that, and the third. You're like, all right, I'm me, my life's movie, my life's adventure. Oh, squad's here. Bet we about to turn up. I'm enjoying. Oh, something crazy happened. I gotta do this. All right, but whether things go favorably or unfavorably, you're not like, oh, my current mood and enjoyment of my life's movie and my life's adventure depends on the external because I've detached myself. So getting present's a good place to come back to, whether it be situationally, environmentally. But another great thing when it comes to the superpower of detachment is how reactive are you going to be when triggers come about? Because you can choose to fall into reaction like, oh, there's a spider. Oh, there's a spider. And granted, spiders are creepy to a lot of people. But, if that spider comes around, are you going to have a heart attack every time? Or are you going to be like, spider coming in my territory, finna get squashed? Or if you're like one of the people who save spiders, like, spider, you caught me off guard. Oh no, I will now take you outside to nature. Regardless of what it is, if like, say, it be something that's not a spider. Let's say, I don't know, you fall into reaction when someone is gossiping and you're like, are they talking about me? I gotta keep my reputation up. They're just yapping sound waves, but these sound waves might have to do with me, so let me listen extra. And then you're like getting pulled into it. You're overly engaged in like your well let me reword that. You're overly dependent. You're overly dependent on the outcome of their conversation. Sound waves. Oh no. Sound waves that might be about me. They said my name. How dare they? And then, what is just peasants squawking becomes something that you're invested in. Now my day is colored and skewed with these goggles. I'm overly invested in this. I'm falling in reaction. Yo, what's up? Hayes, the legend. Welcome. Pleasure to have you, bruh. Miss you, fam. Where's the emoji swag? Where's my favorite one? I got a size. Where'd the I really got to get more focused on where my emojis are at. I feel like I'm not a clout god if I don't have the emoji game down. Yeah, add those to my recents. Yes. Yo, I miss you, fam. Just chilling, making a video talking about superpower of detachment. Detach how much you react to things so that you're not as invested in it and you don't feel like, I don't know, your mood will fluctuate as much. I use the welcome. I use the example like people yapping and gossiping. It depends because of COVID, so it's pending. But come this new year, see, that's I feel like I'm away from home, ultra homesick. So that's first goal above everything. Is as soon as it's see, things aren't the same. I feel like there's just a lacking of homesickness. There we go. First time I ever felt homesick was when I left. I was like, whoa, the environment doesn't feel the same. I gotta be here, like here on the East Coast. No, I'm melting. No, the life is being sucked out of me. And then, there was a dark phase where I hung my head. I was like, the clouds are gloomy. But I'm excited to go back ASAP. I'll keep you posted and updated as soon as possible when I have the indicator of the green light. Then I'm going to fly straight through and I'll be reunited with you guys. Here, I'm going to give you a virtual hug right now. I feel your arms around me. The love. Look at that. I feel welcome. But yes, I feel the love right now. Right? Hey, we're going to have to find our own function time to take over ourselves and have fun. As is greatly missed the charisma of being with squad like you guys. Not to say anything, it'd be less lit when you're not with lit people like you guys. You know, people aren't, they don't live life like rock stars like you guys do over here. So I'd be like, oh, I'm in a desert. I'm like a lone rock star. I'm like, damn, I left my rock star squad. Ah. Oh, no way. Hey, that's wild. That's funny. I'm glad to hear that he's keeping astute on his I don't even know perkness. He'd just be like skateboard. That's funny. I imagine it, envision it so vividly. Ah, good times, good times. Take your ass to work. Yup, that. Yo, those days when we did that, bro, that was some wildness. I loved coming along with you on that. I'm always down. Technically, anywhere, whether it be chilling, whether it be doing some wild work stuff, whether it be going on an adventure. Never a dull moment with you, bro. You be keeping it lit. Our back and forth is timeless for adventure's sake. How's today coming along?
Doing well.
Oh, that's what's up. It was, yo, literally the funnest. It was like, all right, we going on the spy mission. What we about to do? Oh, bet. Oh, all right, we got hit feet. Let's get over here. The throw. The nostalgia, the FOMO. I feel like I'm missing out on so much right now. Tears on my heartstrings. But I'm so hyped and eager to be reunited. It's gonna be lit. Oh, can't wait. I can't wait. Y'all got me gassed up, and I'm not even leaving yet. I feel like I'm about to leave. Ooh. Your charisma just comes through the telecommunicative Wi-Fi box phone device, hitting me with all these megapixels on the screen, even though your thumbnail's like yay small. Feel the love. I feel the love. Completely forgot what I was talking about. Oh, yes. Okay. Just got back from Underground Warehouse Party in San Bernardino. Yo, that sounds like it was a good time. That sounds like it was a real good time. I'm glad to hear that everything was smooth and no one got caught up in the love you, bro. I'm about to jump off. Yo, take care, fam. Much love, bro. Miss you, fam. Stay safe. Well, I'm glad to hear that the function was lit. And don't go. Hey, that's it's only for the special VIPs. I would never. Only with. Yo, I miss you, bro. That was hilarious. Good times. Alright, I'm gonna get serious in a second. Alright. Woosa. But I do hope you have an epic day, bruh. Enjoy yourself, fam. Love you, bruh. Where was I at? Oh, detachment. So I was talking about detachment, and oh yeah, people talking trash, people gossiping, just yap, 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 sound waves from their mouth. You heard your name, you heard a situation you were involved in, and then you get invested in the situation. You're like, okay, well now what they're talking about relates to me. Now my mood is fluctuating because I got to keep my reputation up, my egos, in the crossfire of these people's gossip. Well, how am I supposed to be able to detach in order to engage and enjoy my life when I gotta take care of this? They talking all this crazy. So detachment comes in handy when it comes to being less reactive when it comes to other people. You don't want to be pulled into other people's yap, yap, yap. Are they doing you any good? Granted, you may need to calibrate. You may be like, oh, what? Oh, nah. How do they know about that? May need to calibrate for some things. But all in all, you can still calibrate without being overly reactive. And that reaction, taking away from your ability to detach from situations, from people saying all sorts of crazy perk stuff, and then being able to, take some of that focus, put it on the situation, but the majority of the focus being on you. Back to that example of this is your life's movie, your life's adventure. And if you are rewatching your life's movie, are you going to be like, yo, I was tripping, caught up in drama, not engaged in the beautiful adventure. That was an amazing day. My day was going phenomenally. And then I heard some yap, 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 and I was like, I don't know how to get angry. Grr, you got angry. And then you were like, oh no. Now my perception of my day is skewed. Because I gotta take care of this yap, yap, yap. It's running these thought loops in my head. I'm in reaction. They stop talking, but I'm still in reaction because now I'm looping on it. I'm not able to detach from this because now it's my focus, and I'm like, now I'm looking through my day with the skewed perception of this situation today didn't go my way. Yeah. And now my day is enjoyed lesser. Although it was an amazing day, and you're back there watching your life's movie like, I was tripping out. I let them get in my head, take away from the fullness and richness I could have got out of my full day because I was just looping on all this craziness that somehow wriggled its way into my ear, and I thought was important when it really shouldn't have changed my whole perception of my day. So when you're able to harness the power of, detachment, like a superpower, you're able to detach your amount of investment into how much you care about the outcome. You're like, okay, I got to deal with this, people talking crazy, but I'm still me. I'm still the hero, the main character of my life's movie, and I'm going to go through, and I'm a finesse, and I'm enjoy myself, and as soon as some craziness comes at me, whoo, swerve, just like Neo out the Matrix. You just ducking it. It's not even phasing you. And then at a certain point, you won't even have to evade it to not react to it. Over time, if you condition yourself to, instead of falling into reaction when people's talking crazy, and you're like, instead you're like, okay, well, sometimes I'd be tripping out, I'd be letting it get in my head, getting stuck in my head. Let me detach from this. So then the yap, yap, yap comes your way, and firewall. They thought I was going to get caught lacking. Nope, gone. And that will become your default. You'll be unfazed by it because you'll have given yourself little reference experience, and stack some wins of, okay, let me not fall into reaction when people's talking crazy. Let me observe it, collect it as a data point. Oh, this was said today. I heard it. All right. If I need to recall it, cool. But I'm going to keep on keeping on my life's movie and my life's adventure, and I'm going to detach from all this reaction to things, and I'm going to be more engaged in all the other things I could pay attention to and give my focus that really are the things I would prefer to enjoy and prefer to be observing and thinking about than some craziness. And that's when it comes to other people. Let's say in your environment, are you going to fall into reaction to things and let that alter your mood and change your perspective of your day? Let's take, for example, you're out with the squad, baddies night, going to the club. I don't know if that's a good example because people can't really go out right now, but we'll just say you're out socializing, baddie squad day at the beach. There we go. And then, you're chilling with squad, but then all of a sudden in your environment, you're like, the sun's so hot today. How is it? It should not be this hot. Yeah, everybody's already under the umbrella. Do I go in the water? I don't want to get wet because I come out, it's going to be cold. And what would be a beautiful, amazing day at the beach with the baddies starts to slowly get skewed because you're in reaction to the sun, reaction to the cold water, which would be nice, but then when you come out, you're not going to be feeling, you're going to be wet, sand going to stick to you. You're going to be like, what would be amazing is now slowly starting to get skewed perspective of reaction. But say, things are still going great, still going amazing. Y'all turning up, y'all dancing, y'all vibing. y'all getting lit, and then all of a sudden, oh no, I dropped my drink, I dropped my food, I dropped my phone in the sand. Oh no, I'm in reaction. I'm overly invested in this. Granted, it would suck. You drop your stuff in the sand at the beach, you gotta clean it. Sometimes you can't clean it till later. It'd be tragic. Sometimes you're like, well, RIP to the food or drink, that junk gone. And then you're in reaction to your environment, something happened. And then you're overly engaged. Your perception starts to get skewed. Things aren't going my way. And then, you're in reaction again. Overreacting to something that's like, oh, well, took a L, but I'm at the beach with the baddie squad, so is it really a L, or is it just part of my day's adventure? And whenever you get triggered by something, say, for example, dropping something in the sand, instead of like, I'm sure lots of people have dropped their phone and broke their phone. Tragic, RIP to all the phones. But, after you've broken like your like second, third phone, you start to get desensitized. You're like, oh, well, this sucks. Now my screen's cracked. My beautiful, perfect screen is now cracked. And then say it's like months later and you've dropped it a few times. The crack has now spiderwebbed its way out to the rest of the phone. And then it was the final drop that broke the phone. Oh, and you completely decimate your first phone. You're like, my baby. But then like later on you're like, oh, nah. Oh, well, that's a loss. Another phone gone. But, you're less reactive to the fact that it actually happened. Which isn't necessarily like, a bad thing. You don't want to be overly invested in your phone. But going back to the beach example, slowly desensitize yourself from reacting to things as much so you can detach from the level of, skewed perspective that your life then takes after something triggers you. So then you can, still enjoy yourself without being as reactive and falling into that spiral of thought loops again. Welcome back. Yes, so overreacting to people in the environment. Oh, did you need a hand with anything?
I will. I'll scoot over whenever you come in.
I'll be right back. All right, have returned. Oh, so desensitizing yourself to the amount of reaction you give stimulus is a great way to start detaching, reconditioning your ability to detach. So that way you're not as invested, getting pulled into even more reaction, more thought loops based around things in your environment. So that way you can really start to enjoy the richness of the environment. Taking that beach example, there's so much. I mean, if your person likes the beach, there's so much to enjoy at the beach. Just environmentally, the sand between your toes, the water, the feel of the mist, the feel of the breeze, the sounds of the wildlife, sounds of the people, the ocean, just the sensations of like the sun basking, the environment to observe, just so many intricacies, so much richness that if, things go south on a trip that would have been an amazing squad goals move, then it's like, was it really worth it to like trip out that much? Was it really worth it to sacrifice the amount of engagement you could have had in your life's movie? Say you're all the way up here at max level of enjoyment, a couple things go south, and then you're like, this trip wasn't really all that lit. Then a couple other things go south. This trip is perked out, wild stuff is happening. But then it just stays at like it was a decent trip. But because you focused the majority of your attention on, oh wow, this tragic thing happened, that tragic thing happened, then it like skews your perspective. When in reality it's like, oh wow, those tragic things happened, but they're already gone and past, and for some reason I'm stuck in a thought loop that I generated, falling in reaction to things. So that's the main reason why I'm like, oh well, reaction. Desensitizing yourself to reacting as severely to things that trigger you is a great way of building that superpower of detachment, to be able to be like, okay, crazy stuff happening, but this is my life's adventure. Baddie trip to the beach. This is my life's movie, and ain't no random stimulus trigger finna catch me lacking and make this a bad day. And if it does skew my day a little bit and it's a little bit of a down, I'm going to go right back up to my baseline of I'm amazing, I'm enough, I'm chilling. I've learned to detach from things and not be overly invested, because then that'll skew my perspective of how much I can enjoy my day. And I don't want that to happen. So, I'm going to choose to be engaged, get the richness and the fullness out of my life's experience. And like I had mentioned, coming back to a grounded place of something like you are enough. You really get to be the center of that life's movie and know that external things don't dictate how you should feel. Coming back to that, I am enough. I am enough. Things that I enjoy from, my environment, that's awesome. That's icing on the cake, the cherry on top of the sundae, the ribbon on top of the present. It's the extra stuff to enjoy, but without it, you'd still be good because you know that you're enough. And that's a amazing place to start to work on when it comes to, utilizing detachment. If you really are enough, and you really have embodied, conditioned your belief, your core belief, that core confidence to ride on that pillar of, I am enough, then you've set yourself up for nothing but success. Because anything externally, like I said, is just for enjoyment. But then, even if it's something that's non-enjoyable, when it hits you, you're not really knocked. You're not really shook. It's like, oh, wow. Well, that sucked. Oh, that sucked. Oh, something I can enjoy. Yes. Oh, something else I can enjoy. Yes. But it's not, oh, no, my life is over. Or like, oh, wow, something really awesome happened, and then it's gone, and you're like, oh, well, now the awesome thing is gone. And that level of being able to detach from that investment in, like, the stimulus, good stimulus, the stimulus, bad stimulus, and being able to come back to, okay, I am enough. Oh, this is lit. Oh, no, this is not lit. Makes it a lot easier for you to be able to engage and get the richness out of your life's experience. Take an example of, validation. You post a pic, you post a video, you post a tweet, a status, whatever it be. And then you're like, okay, well, 2 hours pass, no likes, no comments, no retweets, no follows, no validation. What is going on? Now I'm looping on, where's my validation? I only got 3 likes in 2 hours. Oh my gosh, am I ugly? What's going on? Is there a spelling error, a typo? Yo, you posted it. It's on the internet. It's done. It's gone. That should be the end of it. You come back to it for some nostalgic sake, like, oh yeah, earlier I posted this. Oh, people liked it. Well, that's crazy. But you shouldn't be as, invested in that identity of self-worth on a post. Now, granted, you may have invested in it. Maybe a creation. You're like, this is my artistic vision. I've posted it out for the world to see, and now they must love it because I love it so much, and I've invested in my baby. Yes. I am not enough if people do not like my life's work. I'm putting it out there. Oh no. 2 hours have passed and the engagement hasn't been what I dreamed. This is months, this is years in the making. I brainstormed it. I finally did it. I curated it and perfected it. I must not have really perfected it because other people don't think it's perfect. I should care what they think about my masterpiece instead of just posting it, enjoying the fact I created something, and then moving on. I'm not enough unless people validate me, unless I get the approval. Where are the accolades? I put in all this hard work. I'm not able to detach from this. This is my creation. And look at that. You're getting sucked down a wormhole, a thought loop, whatever you want to call it, of negativity. You're just in reaction, falling back into that reaction. You're outcome dependent. What's going on? I need to be invested in this. It's my baby. When in reality, if you're able to get out of your head and detach, you'd be able to be like, whoa, okay, well, it'd be cool if, it'd be crazy, it'd be legendary if this got amazing reviews, amazing engagement. People loved it. It kept coming up because it became a trending topic. That'd be phenomenal. But I am enough. And regardless of whether this project is amazing or whether it it flops and no one cares about it, it's there. It's done. I'm on to the next thing because I'm enough and everything I do is amazing. Everything I do, I rate it 100 out of 10. Or, yo, shout out my man Owen, Real Social Dynamics, 1,000 out of 10. Imagine if you viewed things in your life that way. You touch it, it turns to gold, it turns to diamonds, it turns to platinum, it turns into clout. Just anything you do, you got to drip. You just drip. You just, the finesse, the swag, you just, nobody can even come at you to a point where you would question yourself because you've shown yourself the self-love of, I am enough. I could get 0 likes, 0 views for a year, but I am enough. Granted, your marketing may be off. You might want to fix some stuff, but the point is, you're not gonna get shook by the level of engagement via social media, via putting projects out there into the world. And then that level of detachment has given you a strong, grounded foundation of I am enough. I do things, I do what I do, but I got the clout. There's no question in my self-worth. It's not reliant on anything. So I can detach from, the outcome of things. And I can really engage in my life without looping and thought looping. Yo, what's up? Welcome. A pleasure to have you, milady. Talking about detachment, how powerful a superpower it is to, get out of your head, to really, be engaged in your life instead of overly invested in things that are arbitrary. And I was coming off of a point of social media, being overly invested in, oh no, my sense of self-worth depends on how well this project that I've put out into the world is received. When in reality, it'd be great if you got the validation, the accolades, people was gassing you up, you went trending viral. But even if it doesn't go that way, you're still, I am a goddess, walk upon the earth, dripping in the clout, and other people cannot tarnish my sense of self-worth. I have shown myself self-love. I know that I am enough. I'm a baddie. Regardless of whether other people online want to acknowledge that or say in the real world want to acknowledge that. Does a queen question her royal prestige when the peasants start squawking? No! She dismisses them with finesse. And if you really have built up that image of I am enough, you can easily detach this thought loop of investment. Like, my mood for today depends on how people are thinking and feeling and talking about me. And you can detach from that and really engage in that richness of your life's movie and your life's experience, just realizing I'm a cloud goddess. Who is there to question me? No one. And having that foundation of you are enough is a great tool to be able to detach, to then further engage and get richness out of your life's experience. And if we were to take it another way, knowing what you want is one of those pillar fundamental things where it's like, do you really have a grounded perspective of, what is ideal, what is preferred, and not that you're, how would I say, overly invested in oh, well, is everything perfect? Is everything the way I want? But more so, I like this. I don't like this. I want to accomplish this. I don't really care to partake in that. And that will provide you the boundaries of what realm you're willing to operate in, what you're willing to tolerate, what you're willing to not tolerate. So that way you can not only detach from things that are a waste of your time, things that you don't find enjoyable, but you can then just detach resonating with caring about things that don't even need to be cared about. Not to say to be rude or anything. You always want to, be empathetic towards people and care about stuff that they do. But at a certain point, you don't want to be pulled into other people's lives movie and have that dictate the way your day goes. You want to be able to be grounded in a place of, okay, I know what I want. I have a vague vision of it. And even if you don't have a direct goal of okay, well, my path is in this way, so if things are combative to this, firewall, I don't tolerate this. Say you don't really have that drive and guiding line. You're testing things out. There's so much to experience in life. You don't want to narrow yourself down to a little box. But say loving yourself, knowing you are enough, getting out of your head, really enjoying the richness of things that are around you. That could be an amazing way of going about your day. But having that sense of purpose, I've found, is amazing. Like, it's cool to go with the flow. Going with the flow is always awesome. But, then you leave yourself subjective to being pulled into things, overly invested, not really being able to detach, because as you're going with the flow, you're flowing into different people's life's movies, and then they're affecting your perception of your day because you're going along with the flow of their movie. Oh, their day's going bad? Oh, wow. Well, I was invested in their life's movie today, so I guess my day didn't turn out as well. I mean, it's tragic for them. It's not really tragic for me, but wow. Okay, well, I left that. I'm now on my path of going with the flow today, you know. But if you're like, okay, well, instead of going with the flow, how about I invest in myself all day? I just show myself self-love. I build myself up, build up my core confidence. That's a great place to start if you don't have like a life goal or a daily goal or something to be your driving focus. And you don't even need it. Going with the flow works for a lot of people. But I find that, if you have a sense of like, okay, well, I'm working towards this. May not even be a big life project, maybe a small life project. Like, I want to feel good about myself. I want to look at myself and always feel like a baddie. That's your goal. I'm a baddie. My life, I live as a baddie. No one can question me. I'm a baddie. When they do question me, oh, I couldn't take myself seriously for a second there because you thought I wasn't a baddie. There's not a reality that I could exist in where I don't feel like I'm a baddie. So having a goal of a sense of self-worth, I guess, more so than a purpose would be the point. A good sense of self-worth is an amazing tool for detachment, being able to be harnessed as a superpower. Because not only you are enough, but say, I'm a baddie. For a while, I would question myself. I'd be like, oh, today's a good day for me. I'm feeling on top of the world. Today's it's an alright day. I'm kind of feeling on top of the world. But, some stuff didn't go my way. Yeah, but some stuff did go my way, so it was an alright day. Oh, today was a bad day. Yo, that joint was tragic. Goodness. And my current mood, the state that I was in, would fluctuate. But, after I started looking back and being like, okay, well, fell into a thought loop here, I was tripping, I overreacted here, I let my perception of my day get skewed. I was like, oh, things aren't ideal. I wasn't feeling like a baddie. I was outcome dependent, I didn't have that driving vision, that driving groundedness of like, this is me on my life's adventure, on my life's movie. I know my purpose is to be a baddie and just enjoy life as a baddie. I'm going with the flow, but I'm a baddie. That groundedness, that purpose that I then started to switch my perspective to gave me like, okay, well, I now know where my default state is that I want to be at. Okay, so I'm a baddie. All right. Well, if I know I'm a baddie and other people are yapping some craziness, instead of letting it get in my head, instead of getting stuck in a thought loop, I'm going to return to that baseline of, okay, I'm a baddie. All right. I know my worth. I've worked on that vision of myself, and I know how I should be perceiving myself. My default now is I'm a baddie. Before, it would fluctuate. It would be down here. Some days it would be up here, some days down here, sometimes up here, down here, fluctuating. But now I know my baseline is I'm a baddie. I've been able to detach from all these other people's life stories, skewed perspectives, all the craziness that be going on that I ebb and flow with. And I was able to be like, okay, this is my baseline. For me, on my life's movie, my life's adventure, I'm a baddie. And as I did that over and over again, stacking those wins of those reference experiences where I chose to detach from something that was triggering me, detach from a thought loop, detach from some external situation that I was partaking in that would skew my perspective, I was able to reinforce that so that it wasn't just here, but it was here. And then it was here. Because there's no limit to the amount of self-love you can give yourself. And every time you're able to, solidify a frame of how you perceive yourself and detach from the external world and how it would influence you, your internal thoughts and how it influences you, you're able to detach. using this example of I'm a baddie. So I went from fluctuating to grounded to able to accede to a new paradigm, and a new paradigm of like, oh, I thought that was me and my level of self-love. Oh no, that's some peasant trash right there. I am now this and this and this much more lit than I used to think my cap was at. And every day that you invest, you choose to show yourself that self-love. Yo, I appreciate that. Thank you. That really means a lot. But at the same time, real recognize real. It takes a legend to know a legend. I appreciate that. Thank you. You're going even farther from what I see. And sky's the limit. Actually, sky's not even the limit. The infinite cosmos are the limit. So who knows? But thank you. I feel the exact same way about you as well, Jules. Oh yeah, so before I would question myself, I'd be tripping. But then I started to harness that power of detachment, and I was able to detach from things that would have tripped me out, would have caused me to settle for a life of less. And every time I did that, I removed a variable that was keeping me at a plateau. And I was able to level up and level up and level up and continue to level up. Because in all that could exist, going back to that thing I mentioned about the cosmos, out of everything that could exist in the infinite cosmos, for you to choose to be stuck in your head, to choose to, out of you, the rarity of the existence that you are, choose to settle for a life of less where you view yourself as less, crazy. Hey, welcome. Crazy that people do that. You look around, so many people do that. But, going back to the power of detachment, if you're able to detach from the level of reaction, the level of investment, the level of the amount of trigger that you're willing to fall into reaction to, the easier it is to exceed to the next level, and the next level, and the next level. And that power of detachment really helps you then to engage in that driving focus, that driving purpose, that driving sense of groundedness in whatever your life's vision of what you want to be is. Now, detachment as the tool to engage in your life's movie, where you have your purpose, your vision of yourself and what you want to be, what you want to accomplish. And even if you don't, just enjoying yourself, having a good sense of self-love and being grounded, and some core confidence built on things like you are enough, that you're a baddie, and going through that process of continuously investing in yourself. And then say, you don't even have to be one-track minded. Yo, welcome, my friend. You don't have to be one-track minded. You can level up in another area. Level up in another area. There's no limit. And you're going on this epic journey. You're conquering. You're crushing. You're a baddie on your path. You've put in the work to build yourself up, to have this sense of self-worth. But out of everything that you got to deal with on the day-to-day, there's social conditioning bombarding you 24/7. Can't escape it. Through your phone, through your environment, through your thoughts, through your conditioning, your upbringing. So many external variables that are in the environment that you live in that you have to take into account. But here comes detachment again. Being able to detach from social conditioning. Whoo! Did you all just hear that? Being able to detach from social conditioning is something you can actually do. Something that's feasible, that you can take an actionable step right now. Takes barely any energy, maybe a little switch in your perspective, change your view from, I used to view the world like this. I was conditioned by my environment, by my upbringing. Hey, welcome. To view things this way, but, this is my life. And if I, don't necessarily want to resonate with the way things are and I want to change something, I could do that. Powerful tool, reconditioning. But a lot of people don't realize that it is in your hands. Yo, what's poppin'? Hey, it's lit. A lot of people don't realize that it is in their hands to be able to harness that power of not only detachment, but reconditioning yourself from social conditioning. Say you had a certain upbringing. It was taboo to do certain things. But now that you're out in, yes, I know it's you, Jude. What's poppin'? I miss you. It's been bricks. Hope you're doing well. I'm talking about superpower of using detachment to be able to engage more in your life. And we're on the example of social conditioning. You were brought up a certain way. You were stifled. You're taught things are taboo. You don't do that. Other things were like favorable, but those weren't even the things you wanted to do. I miss you too. Big love. So your perspective on your life has been consistently skewed by social conditioning. Now, say it's not just your upbringing. Say it's your environment. You're like, oh, well, I live in a country, in a city where we have these rules and these laws, and obviously, you don't want to have to deal with the repercussions of going against the mob, going against the culture that you're in. Some of those things are in place to protect us. But at the same time, it puts everybody in a little box, You must operate within le box. Le box is your sandbox, your playground. You've been conditioned to only be able to view things as favorable that the majority of people view as favorable. Anything else is, oh, you're one of those people. You have that niche interest. Oh, we're going to look at you a certain way. We talk about your kind in a certain way. You're into that? Oh. We over here are the favorable people in society's eyes. We do not dabble in such things. And you're over here like, oh, yo, I like what I like. But y'all crazy. And then because you're consistently in a society of people who are acting crazy, people who don't really think for themselves, don't really realize that they can recondition themselves, they can harness the power of detachment to leave that social conditioning behind, are stuck on your left, on your right, in front, behind, everywhere you go, on TV, on your phone. Just the masses have their view of things. They're not able to detach from the group think. They're not able to give themselves that permission to start to take away that skewed perspective of, I've been fed all this information my life. I look at the world a certain way. Other people look at the world a different way, but this is how I've viewed things my whole life. And for me, to change my perspective means that I was wrong. What else was I wrong about? Oh no! Have I been tripping out? My sense of self-worth was built upon this ego-based identity. Oh no, okay, put back on the goggles. Yes, okay, whoo! Alright. Okay, I can breathe now. Back to my comfort zone. And that's the majority of people. They will live a life where they die with regrets because they chose to stay in their little box, seek the approval of other people, and not really go outside of their comfort zone to really live life like a rock star. To really realize that, they are alive and exist, and that they should actually enjoy their existence and choose what they want to enjoy. I dislike that I get so attached easily. We were talking about attachment earlier. I'll revisit that in a moment. My entire politically angry family, and that's the crazy part, that a lot of times you can't even escape it, and it's consistently there. It's funny that you say that. That's a major driving force. People's investment not only in the mob, the masses view, but their specific niches, like what you were mentioning. Your entire family is like, all right, we look at things this way. We side with this team. Now, not only are they in a certain bubble of groupthink, but then they have an opposing bubble. Oh, but we're on this side. We're in this area of groupthink. And now in order for them to adhere to those beliefs that they've conditioned themselves, that team investment that they've put themselves in, they're attached, they're invested so deeply that not only would they have to go against their own niche, their own bubble of people, but that have been conditioned to view and operate the way, they got the ops. And if they look soft in front of the ops, then not only are they going against their self-values, but they're going against their squad's values. And then to be disowned, oh no, from the community, that was my tribe. and the ops won't accept me because they the ops, and it's too much cognitive dissonance. My reality is fluctuated. How would I have lived this whole way, siding one way, and now the ops, I gotta humor them as possibly being right because my tribe disowned me because I questioned my investment. Then it's like, oh, I can't ever be in this middle ground of not having stability because, whoa, I don't like not being accepted. I don't like being alone. I can't go with the ops, and maybe the ops will take me. That's my only choice. So they'll be super grounded, and they'll be exactly an angry squad because they can't go back to being without the community that they've invested in. So that social conditioning, like you mentioned, perfect example, is a tragic way that many people get sucked into different factions, different groups, different mentalities, different belief systems, different identities that skew their life, and they're not able to detach because that's just one of the ways they function. And it could be at small scale. It could be like, oh, I got my squad. I've been socially conditioned to, be lenient. Let's say, be lenient, to be open-minded, to accept certain things from people who I affiliate with frequently, my squad. But then, is that necessarily always true? What if there's something that you shouldn't be rocking for? What if, someone in squad is toxic, for example? Then, what could be an amazing baddie squad gets some poison dripping introduced. Poison dripping being something that seems beneficial, that you partake in, expose yourself to, but then over time starts to drip little bits of poison, little bits of negativity that you're usually willing to overlook because you've been conditioned to view the good over the bad, especially when there's a skewed bias of like, oh, this is squad. But say, for example, there's someone who gossips too much. They start, bringing that energy around. And granted, squad, different environments, different circumstances, different things, but there's that reoccurring poison dripping of gossip, gossip, gossip. Gossip, gossip, gossip. They've been socially conditioned to find gossip as a valuable mode of communication. Something that helps them get their fix of attention, of validation, being the one who's given that information, who's able to yield the power to build people up and or destroy them. And that toxic energy has seeped into squad. Now, are you going to just, hey, you should love your friends? Or are you going to be like, yo, this toxicity has got to stop. We got to detach from this toxicity. Not the person necessarily. You can most likely address the situation. But say, everybody else has been conditioned to be like, well, I don't want to get rejected by my friends. They're my friends. If I get rejected by my friends, then I have no friends. I'm so attached. I can't start over. Oh no. Overly invested. Now, obviously, it'd be tragic to lose a friend group, but the point is, you don't want to tolerate the poison dripping of the gossip. So, what you do, you address it non-combatively. Hey, this gossip, it's got to stop. But from your perspective, you're coming at them as, well, this is how I communicate and function and talk, and I can do what I want. And you're coming from there's only 20 seconds left? This is crazy. All right, I'll probably just restart back to finish off the topic. Oh, so you're communicating with someone who's coming from a combative frame. You're the one who's not falling into the social conditioning of, we can tolerate this because we're squad. You're coming from the place of, oh no, I'm not socially conditioned to accept that. So we're going to try to bring your perspective out of this and change your relationship with gossip. All right, back in detachment superpower. We're in the part of social conditioning. Got cut off on the last part. Continuing, picking back up where we were at. So if you harness the power of detachment in order to separate from social conditioning, when you come into a situation like, say, drama, it's the baddie squad. You don't want to break up the squad. You don't want to have to start all over. Yo, welcome, lady. My bad. I accidentally ended it, the whole thing, instead of finding the proper button. But, hey, we lit. We back out here. So, detachment as a superpower, yielding it to get more engagement out of your life, to combat social conditioning that is trying to stifle you, keep you in the little box. So, you're with the baddie squad. There's drama. Someone's poison dripping, introducing little bits of negativity of gossip and drama over time, and you don't want to break up the squad. But you're looking at it like, yo, this is crazy. Y'all perking out. Y'all just wilding. This is toxic. But you are not falling into the socially conditioned view of scarcity, where, oh no, well, we're squad, we're together, we're friends. We're supposed to love each other and overlook our shortcomings instead of addressing them. Well, I can barely hear you on this phone. I'm gonna hop off, but much love. I can't. Yo, okay, no worries. Love you, miss you. Thank you for coming on. I'll give you a virtual hug. Yes. Send my love to the fam, to Bay, to everyone. Miss you all. Cannot wait to be reunited. Where was I at? Oh, yes. Okay, so if you have harnessed the superpower of being able to take your perspective and be like, okay, I do not tolerate gossip. Oh, well, I left these skewed view of gossip and appreciating gossip behind me. My friends still humor gossip. They're willing to tolerate this toxicity. You've left the social conditioning of tolerating gossip. You've also left that social conditioning of scarcity, where you're like, well, if I have a combative idea against the tribe, against the group, and they disown me, then I'm willing to stand on my own and be like, yo, this isn't chill. Whereas everybody else in squad is willing to tolerate the gossip, tolerate that toxicity. So you've come out of that social conditioning on two fronts. Stack those as huge wins. You're starting to pave your view of how you want to operate within your life's adventure. Your friends, on the other hand, may humor the gossip, and this is an arbitrary example, but the point is, when you're coming at people who are stuck in the blinders of social conditioning, who have a skewed perspective, and you're coming as an outsider who's unconditioned, and this can translate to many different areas, you're coming combative, even if you're trying to be collaborative, and you're like, hey, yo, we should try to fix this. This gossip is toxic. You don't see these instances where gossip made the night out at the club dramatic, where gossip turned the relationship sour, and we were not communicating properly for a while. I don't like gossip. No more gossip. They're like, so you don't like us and the way that we've been doing things? Maybe you're the problem. Now you may be able to ease and communicate properly and be able to get through this. But let's say, for example, this social conditioning of two combative views is going to come up a lot as you start to harness detachment from social conditioning as a superpower that you wield to get out of your head, to get out of social conditioning and show yourself that you don't have to tolerate other people's views. That when they don't agree with you, you can come at them, try to, coax them to a solution, come to level grounds of a win-win, but at the same time, you're coming from a place where you don't have those blinders on. You've shown yourself the self-love of, okay, I'm a baddie. Okay, this vision of me not feeling like a baddie, I can leave behind. Well, I have to be accepted by the group. I can't bring up anything that may be combative because I don't want the group to leave. I don't want to break up the group. I don't want to be alone and have to start all over again. I'd be okay if I was able to change into a healthier environment. I can leave that scarcity behind. And being able to shift out of these different forms of conditioning is powerful. Being able to detach yourself from being overly invested in acceptance by the masses is powerful, because then you start to build a more unique, enjoyable lifestyle by cultivating the personality that you desire. Not being influenced, overly invested in things that don't really pertain to you because you want to leave that behind. Now, that's just an example of once you've started to use detachment, how you can navigate, let's say, leaving behind an old you, being that you, and then engaging in a world with people who are still conditioned in that perspective, still attached too strongly to skewed perspectives and views, where in reality, you've leveled up in that area, other people have not. Now you're alone. You're looking at life with no skewed perspective, but everybody around you is still under social conditioning, still falling into reaction to things, still thinking that they have to care what other people think about them, what other people say. In that gossip example, for example, but say we take it a little bit further, out of a small group to a wide group. Say, now this is crazy. This might sound crazy, but you are probably wrong about a lot of things that you believe to be true. Either you have a lack of information, you have misinformation, or you have information that's given you a biased view where you're just so cemented in that belief. Now, being open to detaching from either the grounded belief, the misinformation, or the lack of information, and just being able to, for imagination's sake, I might be wrong about a lot of things. Whoa, I might be wrong about a lot of things. Now that I'm open to the fact that I might be wrong, I can start with a blank slate. Even though these views have held me together, have built me up to be the person who you are today. I wouldn't be me without all these life's experiences giving me the input to be who I am. And say, for an example's sake, I used to deal with a lack of situational entitlement. I didn't feel entitled always when I'd be in an environment. I would allow the social conditioned view of, this isn't your comfort zone. This isn't where you're normally at. These aren't people who you're normally with. So you have to now establish your worth. You have to start over. You have to, question yourself, judge yourself, be in a state of doubt until you've proven to the people around you that you deserve the validation, you deserve the approval, you deserve acceptance by them. And say, for example, be at the club. Different groups of people, I'm there alone. I'm feeling okay. I'm on my life's movie. I'm on my life's adventure. I do this normally. I go out by myself. Go out sober. Have an amazing time. But in the back of my head, I hadn't given myself the deep work of being like, okay, well, where are your socially conditioned blind spots? Where are you still wrong about things? And I would think, I go out, I have fun, I turn up, I get lit, I meet people. But I was stifled with the perspective of social conditioning being like, when you go up to people, you have to prove yourself. You have to, obviously, when you go up to people, you want to be able to give value. You don't want to be an annoyance. But I was like, you talking to them is you bothering them. You have to earn, in their eyes, the right to feel comfortable being you around them. You have to put in the work. You have to, feel them out and see what they like and what they don't like. And if they like something, you have to like it too. And not that I would fall into this every time, but there would be certain circumstances where I'd be like, okay, well, I feel like I need to impress these people. I feel like I need to alter my way of navigating talking to them to, yo, what's up? I need to, talking about detachment as a superpower to get more engagement out of enjoying your life. In this example, I was talking about how, I would go to the club, go alone, go sober. I'd enjoy myself, I'd be turning up, but I'd still question and doubt myself sometimes on the amount of entitlement I could have to go into an engagement feeling completely free, feeling completely unstifled, and being my most authentic self, because I feel like, oh, well, this is a squad, I got to get the approval of all of the squad. And that level of social conditioning of don't be combative, don't be abrasive, be a people pleaser would be something that I'd be stuck with. I'd be like, oh, well, usually, I feel like I'm a baddie. I feel entitled to being a baddie. I love myself, I enjoy myself, but I'm around new people. I gotta, if I want to make friends with them, I don't want to not make friends. They seem really cool, but I gotta be a little less authentic. That social conditioning of don't be combative, don't go against the mob, be accepting, be non-combative, instead of being like, hey, this is me fully, I would kind of alter myself. I'd be like, hey, how's it going? Seeking rapport, trying to build a bridge. And then like later I'd be like, yeah, now these people are overly accepting of me, and there's a couple things I don't like that I kind of noticed, but I was too stuck in my head. I was trying too hard to make friends with them. I was like worrying about stepping on toes, and am I talking to this person? Are these people together? Are they going to misinterpret this? Are these even not people who are together? And like now I'm misinterpreting, and then they're gonna take it as offense. Am I engaging too much? Do I seem creepy and off-putting instead of being like, hey, yo, this is me. You're graced by my presence. What's up? What's poppin'? Yo, welcome. What's up? Talking about detachment as a superpower to get more engagement out of your life. And I'd question myself in those environments in the club and stuff, and I'd be like, all right, well, I know for a fact that things go well, things go my way. I have a track record of making friends, building relationships, but at what cost? At being less authentic? By being less entitled in the moment to just, hey, welcome, to taking that prestige, to being like, okay, I know I'm enough, I know I'm a baddie, but, why am I questioning my level of entitlement to the point where I have to seek their validation instead of them equally having to seek mine? And I started to detach my level of investment that I was giving to these one-off engagements. I was stuck in that social conditioning before, having that skewed perspective of, oh, well, I question myself sometimes, to, okay, every time I trip out and question myself, that's a red flag. Doubt, judgment, being attached to the outcome of this engagement with strangers. Obviously, you want to make friends with them, but the fact that I feel like I have to be a people pleaser in order to do that, that's a weird form of social conditioning that I thought was a part of my core identity that I now have to leave behind. I got to burn that bridge, and I got to burn it fast, because more of those thought loops are coming down the bridge. I got to burn the bridge, firewall. I detached from that view. I was like, okay, every time I resonate with this identity of people pleaser, it's worked so far, so long for me. It's part of my identity. Why would I leave it behind? Well, I've been socially conditioned to be a people pleaser. You want to be nice to people. Be nice. Be friends with everyone. And that turned into a bit of a poison dripping to questioning entitlement, always thinking I had to please the other people to get their approval as a mode of communication as a default. Now, granted, a lot of people don't deal with this people pleaserism, but a lot of times people give people benefit of the doubt. They'll, overlook shortcomings because they're blinded and have a skewed perspective of, wow, well, I want this person's approval. This person's really hot. Damn, he looking fine. Yo, I'm a baddie. They're a baddie. I mean, say less. Let me say what's up. But in that engagement, you already skewed your perspective. You're already letting that social conditioned view of, wow, well, you shouldn't judge people. Benefit of the doubt. Woo! To skew your perspective. And now, you'll allow blind spots to come up because you're giving them a little bit more value than they should have without having gone through field testing things. And whether it be the example of, questioning entitlement, whether it be the example of giving people benefit of the doubt. The point is, there's biases, there's misperceptions, misunderstandings, there's things you think to be true that aren't true. But if you can detach and be like, wow, well, I might be wrong about a lot of things. I've gone about my life operating on this way. Then you can change a lot of things. And when it comes to that example, yo, what's poppin'? When it comes to that example of questioning entitlement, it's really about, am I going to take back control? Is this really going to be how I live the rest of my life? Stagnating? Now, you may have attributes you like about yourself. But if there's something that you can do, of all things, question everything. Assume that you can change everything. It's in your control. Just got to recondition your perspective. And that's a powerful tool. Reconditioning. Getting out of social conditioning, out of these boxes, out of these identities, out of these beliefs that you resonate with. Say you're conditioned to view that you're not a baddie. You don't think you're a baddie. You look at yourself, you question how good you're looking, how you're feeling, day in, day out, fluctuating. Now, earlier I talked about changing that perspective and really giving yourself that, yo, What's up? Hey, what's poppin'? Hey, Islet. Oh, bet. Yo, I wish I could send hearts too. Hold up, I'm gonna spam them emojis. Spam them emojis. Whoop, 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 whoop. Glad to see you. Miss you. Talking about detachment as a superpower to top of the morning. Oi, top of the morning to you as well. Hope you're doing phenomenal. Talking about detachment as a superpower to get out of your head, get out of social conditioning. This example was when you're doubting, questioning yourself. No way. There's no way you miss me more. Talking about doubting and questioning yourself, not thinking that you're a baddie, not feeling entitled to that, and that being a socially conditioned view. All this time you've been fed by media, by people telling you, by their preferences, by the culture that you're in. Boo, 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 boo. Hey, yo, the pleasure's all mine. Always glad to go deep on topics. You call, I answer. Never trouble. But if you're able to recognize, okay, well, I'm wrong about a lot of things. I may be wrong about even more things than I think because I have skewed biases. I resonate with certain beliefs, but those beliefs could be wrong. Use the power of the imagination. These beliefs could be wrong. So, if you're able to take that open-mindedness into using detachment as a superpower, and you detach from these beliefs just for an experiment, You resonated with this, it was part of your core identity, but it could be wrong. Let me detach from it and see what life looks like when I detach from it. Then you can start to be like, wow, critical evaluation, I used to question whether I could feel entitled to being a baddie or not. Well, what caused that? All right, social conditioning. Everybody says, oh, you gotta be a 10. You gotta look good. You gotta be told that you look good. People gotta consistently remind you that you look good. You gotta get validation, approval, accolades. You gotta be popping on social media. You gotta be popular in culture. You gotta look this certain way. You gotta look that certain way. You gotta, have experience. You got to have people to back you up. You have to have all these arbitrary external things in order to feel entitled to being a baddie. And you have that skewed perspective of, wow, I'm lacking this, and this that all these people have. And everybody considers them a baddie. Granted, not everybody, but they have thousands of millions of followers. They get endorsements. They're successful. They just walk with confidence. They get approval. And I don't have these things, so I must not be enough right now. I'm lacking these things. The checklist, I don't have everything checked off on the checklist. So I don't feel like my default is that I'm a baddie because I've been shown that that's not how this works. And this has been your whole life. Just conditioning, social conditioning. All these factors building up what is now an ego-based identity. All these things that I just listed are part of external checklist. Like, I need this, I need this, I need this. Other people have to give me the approval, validation to be able to take that prestige. When in reality, that's the socially conditioned perspective. Nobody up front says you need it, but it's inferred that you do need that in order to give yourself something to invest in your core confidence. How am I going to be confident if people aren't acknowledging me? Can I just be okay by myself forever, even if no one tells me that I'm a baddie? Can I really be a baddie? And this is where that detachment comes in. Because you've detached yourself from that view, and you're like, okay, well, I used to question whether or not I could be a baddie. And now you're able to detach, recognize that there's this copious list of things that has been hammered into you that your head just loops on as points of worth. I can feel worth more if I have this, if I have that, if I have that. Okay, I've gotten 3 points of worth now. Okay, so I can feel partially like I'm a baddie. Yeah. Well, what happens if those disappear? They're fleeting. That's part of that ego-based identity. It's relying on other things to fuel it, as opposed to being grounded in self-esteem. And when you look at that and you're like, whoa, okay, well, let me detach my level of investment in those 3 things and try to feel like I'm enough without. Okay? You've taken away the power from all that social conditioning, taken that first step to desensitize yourself from that old view that you had and start to resonate more with, well, I could be enough. If I had a skewed perspective and that was coloring my view of self-worth, well, now I can recognize that, I don't need to resonate with that anymore. That these are extra things that are cool to have, to enjoy, but they don't define me. I can detach from all that crazy riffraff, all that social conditioning, and I can see that now I had that skewed view before, but now I'm gonna leave that there. I'm gonna be over here. And I'm gonna look at that old me. Yo, this was like a few minutes ago, but I was just tripping out. I thought that I wasn't enough, and I didn't feel entitled to being a baddie because all my life I've been told that there are all these factors that play into being deemed a baddie. Well, if I can now see where that stimulus was throwing me into reaction and I can recognize it, all right, I'm going to notate. I'm going to stack this as a huge win. I took the first step in detaching from that old view and reconditioning myself by just assuming I was wrong. I could have been tripping. I did some research, found out I was tripping. Now I need to concretely solidify this. I invested in my self-awareness. I brought it to my attention. I invested in my core confidence. I desensitized the amount of worth I was giving to these arbitrary accolades. And now I've got a better view of me feeling like I'm enough. Crazy. Whoa, it's crazy. I gotta take a minute. That's crazy. I actually did something. I did something productive and I changed my perspective. Well, now that you've stacked that win, when you come into social conditioning again and you fall into reaction like, wow, I posted something, this is a beautiful project, I invested in it, and I'm not getting validation. I'm not getting approval. It didn't go viral. It didn't go trending. It's been days and I barely got much of a reaction out of it. Now, instead of being invested in being like, well, if I was really a baddie, people would like what I put out there more. Instead, you're like, oh, well, I am enough. I'm crushing it regardless. Sla, for sure. Oh yes, so got distracted. So the point is to recondition your perspective, to detach from these old views, assume that they might be wrong and it might be something that was part of your core identity. But if you're not coming from a grounded place of, I am enough, I am confident, I'm a baddie. Now, when this reaction comes to me, I have a firewall. I don't tolerate this. I've chosen to leave behind the skewed image I had of myself, poof, and create my own way of perceiving reality instead of just going with the flow of what I was told, what I was taught, and what I was conditioned to accept. And detachment being a powerful tool to do that, to also then give you that extra level of engagement in your life. Instead of having that skewed perspective, you can now get a fuller, richer experience because you're not stifled by all these skewed perspectives, misinterpretations, misunderstandings, beliefs that you resonated with before. So detachment is a powerful tool to leave behind things in order to get more engagement out of savoring your life, not being stifled. Being a baddie is my favorite example. I used to not feel like a baddie all the time. I used to question my level of entitlement. But I used this method to slowly over time be like, okay, well, I'm tripping out. I'm stuck in my head. Get out of your head. You're stuck in your head. You're judging yourself. Whoa, okay. Stack that as a win. Next time, something will throw me into reaction. I'm questioning myself. Yo, I tripped out last time. Let me detach from this investment in this validation I'm not getting, this questioning that was going on, and really ground myself in the belief that I am a baddie. And it works. Even if you don't think it works, just look out there. There are people who think they're baddies. Did they leave social conditioning behind? I would think so. Because even if they had the validation and they had the approval, it still takes making that part of your core identity. So, I mean, I'm sure that, there are people who even don't have that mob, socially conditioned prestige of being a baddie, who still feel like they're a baddie. So we went through a lot of different topics, went all over the place. Coming back to the beginning, talked about power of detachment. Really, coming to a grounded place. We're not outcome dependent. We can feel like you're enough, be enough, know you are enough. Utilize that as a tool to navigate your world unstifled, to be able to get the fullness out of your life's experience and not settle for less. To really get that harnessed through things like getting present to the moment, things like removing biased, skewed perspectives, things like reconditioning old beliefs, things like taking back control from misunderstandings, misinterpretations, different frames that you resonated with from social conditioning. What else do we talk about? We've talked about a lot. But, end all be all, the point is, the power is in your hands to recondition your perspective of how you view yourself, how you live your life, what you want to do, who you want to be. But a lot of people will die with regrets because they don't take into their hands the power of, I can recondition myself to detach from things that I resonated with, things that I was overly invested in, things that I cared too much about, things that would throw me into reaction, that would take away from the richness that I could enjoy of my life's movie, my life's adventure, because I was overly invested, overreactive, getting pulled so many different directions. When in reality, if you're able to detach, realize I can be in a grounded place. I am enough. I am confident. Work on that. Recondition your perspective. Then you can really engage in your life's movie, your life's adventure, without having to worry about social conditioning, without having to worry about getting stuck in your head in thought loops. You can be free from that. Power's in your hands. Detachment is a superpower. Use it, because it's lit. I have all faith in you. You can do this. Go harness your superpower today.